It is time for a Week 1 NFL edition with apologies to Pink of Just Give Me a Reason. Peter, the first one is for you. Give me a reason the Jets can upset the Steelers Sunday at 1 Eastern.
I think they can take the air out of the ball and they can knock Aaron Rodgers around. That's a really good defensive front, and Aaron Glenn has been preaching discipline, hard-hitting toughness on defense the entire training camp and offseason. I think that this guy is going to get booed to high heavens in MetLife, and I think they're going to want to hit him. I think Rodgers might have a tough day in MetLife in his great return.
You think so, Lewis?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a grind. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I do ultimately think that he's going to wind up pulling this game out because I believe what people have been saying about him this offseason, which is he looks dialed in since he's been there during training camp, and his arm looks as alive as ever. This is going to be a tough slog, though, for him because, as Peter's mentioning, look, there's going to be a lot of people pulling against. There's going to be a lot of negative energy in that stadium for him in particular. The dude's a pro. And I think they have the better football team, and I think they'll find a way to pull this out.
Kmart, what's the sense you're getting? You spend a lot of time around, particularly around the Jets. What is your sense of this one? Steelers, Jets, early spot Sunday.
Well, so I think that the Steelers will close it out. But my big concern is Aaron Rodgers is almost 42 years old. Mm-hmm. And videos that are circulating on Twitter showing, does Aaron look slow? I think he'll actually play better this season. But I think against the team that knows him, this defense knows him, right? Yeah. And Aaron Glenn, he brings that physical mentality. He came from Detroit. He's looking at this like we have to set the tone. I don't know how good the Jets will be this season, but in this game on their home turf, he's at least going to try to get Aaron off his mark.
Steelers are a 2.5-point favorite. We can put the picks up on the screen. I hope everyone in Florham Park is watching as you see as you see the blasphemy that is about to come up on the screen here. Can we blaspheme? Wait a minute. What? Are we populating them? Another clean sweep. By the way, the total is 38.5. That's a low number. People don't think either of these teams are going to be explosive offensively. Neat, give me a final word.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Jets are going to pull it off, it's going to be because Justin Fields has the ability to make incredibly big plays, game-changing plays with his legs. I know Aaron Glenn coached really well with a defense that was full of injuries last year, and there's a defense with some dudes on it. So that defense is going to be good, and you're going to need Fields to break some long runs to make big scores for the Jets.
All right, let's continue. Just give me a reason. And let's actually stay with the New York teams. Dominique, a very interesting matchup in Week 1 in the NFC East is the Giants and Commanders. Give me a reason the Giants can pull off an upset in this game.
Yeah, the Giants actually have some pretty favorable matchups at important spots. So you're looking at Malik Neighbors right now, and he's a tough matchup for even the best corners in football. He's one of those top of the league, top 10 elite type receivers that can change the game. And that defensive line that we've all been talking about, we're excited to see how that front four, particularly on nickel situations and third down, with the addition of Abdul Carter, can get after them with Dexter Lawrence. Those, if they can win those spots and keep the game short and reduce turnovers, I think they will be in the game towards the end of it, and then anything can happen at the end of a game.
Traeger, it's been interesting to me. I feel like there have been a lot of people over the course of this summer who have been pointing at this game, right? And the vibes around the Giants, which could not have been worse at the end of last season, feel as though they've really swung. And a lot of people have pointed at this game as a spot for a possible upset Week 1.
Yeah, because the Giants front four is going to give Jaden Daniels trouble. And I could argue that the Giants front four up there with the Eagles might be the best front four in all of football. When you're looking at the rookie Abdul Carter next to Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeau, that is going to be a long afternoon for any quarterback. And Jaden, who we know is going to be able to use his legs and evade some of it, you can argue, yes, they got Laramie Tunsil and they drafted a player to play as well on the offensive line. Jaden's offensive line was not necessarily the hogs of the Redskins of the 80s last year. So I think that he's going to be under pressure a lot. And the two times the Giants played the Commanders last year, the Giants almost came out with victories. So you could make the argument that the Giants are in a good position. I don't like them to win on the road in the home opener for one.
Commanders are, I have them -6.5. I have a total here at 45.5. How do you see it, Kmart?
Listen, I think the Commanders will win, but I think in this game, the Giants have nothing to lose. Everybody's talking about how difficult their schedule is. This is a team that people might not, maybe the vibes seem, we all seem intrigued by the Giants, but this wasn't a team that we were expecting to do much this year. I think this defense, tied to Brian Daboll, like I think back to when he first got to the Giants and you just felt like in that locker room, he had them believing that they had all the horses they need in every game they went in expecting to win. I think they kind of got the old vibe back with these guys. I'm excited to see them play.
As Lewis talks, you can put the picks up on the screen. Again, you're going to see a
again?
theme
Nah.
working here. We got another clean sweep.
Yep, that's bad.
Not
That's
good.
a bad look.
Not good.
But look, I think in this game, here's the key for this game, right?
Yeah.
How do you slow down a tremendous pass rush, a tremendous front, especially when you're talking about the passing game? It can't just be like normal pass protection. Play action pass has to be a big thing for Jaden Daniels this year. His yards per drop back a year ago, Hembo, this shot me this. I saw this anecdotally by watching the tape last year. He supported it with this. Okay, he was a full yard below the league average in terms of yards per drop back off of play action last year. Now, of all the great things he did, that's an area where they can improve, which means, look, they've upgraded the running back room. It has to be a factor. Now, there's some times where you may feel as though you're just banging your head into a wall, averaging 2.5, 3 yards per carry, but it will pay dividends in the play action pass game because we know Jaden can launch it deep. We know he's proficient second and third level throwing. So look for play action pass to be a big part of this game.
You know what else I want to see? How does Terry McLaurin look?
Yeah.
I mean, we all were saying they got to pay Terry. They got to pay Terry. Get him in practice. Well, now he's about to play.
And how do they use Deebo Samuel? Remember, when you talk about upgrading the running back room, maybe he's a big part of that running game. They'll be fascinating to watch. There's one other thing I'm dying to show you here. Let me take another of our name-based puns. It's time for Is That Ridiculous? First up, if I said Cam Ward, week 1, #1 overall pick, is going to light up a very good Denver defense. Lewis, is that ridiculous?
As much as I love Cam Ward, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Vance Joseph has got the Denver Broncos defense humming right now. They can rush the passer. They got the best cover corner in the NFL. Cam is going to have a great season. He just is. Just let him have his growing pains. Let him crawl before he walks. Let him walk before he runs. But once he gets running, he will light some people up. It's just not this week.
All right, so we start with a younger quarterback. Let's go to an older one. If I said Matthew Stafford is going to throw 3 touchdown passes in the opener against Houston, is that ridiculous?
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Look, the Houston Texans can rush the passer as well as anyone. They've got a bunch of dogs on that defense. We've been worrying about Matthew Stafford all preseason long as far as the status of his back. Has not played. Look, I think he's another guy. You're going to have to let him ease himself into it. He's right away stepping right into the fire going against the Houston Texans. 3 touchdowns, that's a little much. Yeah, I'll say that's ridiculous.
Okay, fair enough. And then last one, Sunday night, Ravens and Bills. If I said this is a preview of the AFC Championship game, would that be ridiculous?
No, that's not ridiculous at all. I could totally see that being the case here. Look, the AFC is loaded. We all know that. We know that it's nothing but heavyweight after heavyweight, and they're just going to absolutely bloody each other's nose all season long, and they're going to do it again in the playoffs. This is, though, I think one of these games where I think this will be a little bit of a precursor to how we think the season is going to go, and I think for Baltimore, and we'll get into this later on, this is huge as opening games go.
Don't do it later on.
Yeah, well, let's do it now.
now.
I forgot it was on the rundown right now, so let's just do it right now then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why is this game so important to the Ravens?
I think from a mental standpoint, this team was devastated the way they lost to Buffalo last year. Devastated. I mean, from Mark Andrews to Lamar Jackson himself, the way in which they dropped the ball, literally, in that football game, I think has really weighed on this football team all offseason long. Because they know it just like we talk about it. They know they're the best roster in the NFL when you look at them 1 through 53. They have got nothing but playmakers and studs at every single position, and they fortified it this year. To come out of the gate and go to Buffalo, to the place where they lost, that was their last game of the season a year ago, and lose the opening game, I think would be devastating for them mentally.
Kmart is covering that game for us for ESPN and Sunday Countdown. Open up the book here. What are the storylines going into this one?
I think Lou hit it on the head from the standpoint of they're going back to the scene of the crime, essentially. After that, Bills lost Lamar.